This is 91.3 FM, WCW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr.Chris Radio of Horror program. And tonight on Radio of Horror, we have in the studio with us, which is always nice. And if you're not catching this live on WCW 91.3 at midnight, hopefully you're catching it on our VidMe or YouTube channels. We have the director of the Sci-Fi Thriller Sanity on the show with us, Sam Vanivray, as well as his star of his science fiction thriller, Adjovi. Thank you for coming on the show with us, guys.
Thank you.
Guys and gals. Guy and gal. Brute Sanity was a movie that I was a part of last year, filmed throughout the greater Boston and Worcester areas.
Right.
Was it just filmed in Boston and Worcester?
No, we hit Cambridge and Avon and even a little bit of New Hampshire to go out into a field.
The movie is about an FBI-trained neuropsychologist teams up with a thief to find a reality-altering device while her insane ex-boss unleashes bizarre traps to stop her. It's like the Lawnmower Man meets the Matrix meets a thief heist movie, apparently.
The dream role.
I've watched half of the movie. I got sent the movie recently, and I was able to at least get through halfway through it, and that's the best way to describe it. There's some Lawnmower Man stuff in this movie every once in a while. Jovi goes through this like weird psychic, crazy stuff attached to her skull.
I'm basically trying to break all these sort of setups that our evil magician has set up for me. So if I can break each of the codes, and I can move on to the next one, and then finally be able to save the planet or the world.
Right. Yeah, I think the things you're referring to as Lawnmower Man style is the super reality.
Yes.
That she's tapping into.
Which you did all with computer effects?
Mostly. There's a mix of, for instance, some of those scenes required recording Jovi in, obviously practical, with actual practical things coming out of her head.
A really fun makeup day.
With people holding funny things to make the lights flash across her, and then the background is computer generated.
Where did you come up with the idea for this movie? What was the evolution?
Right, so I was thinking about doing a horror film because I don't have much money, so this is an extremely low budget film. So I was thinking, well, horror movies can be done with low budgets. But then I was thinking, I wasn't sure if I was ready to go straight horror yet, since I've been writing science fiction. So I said, well, why not just write a science fiction movie, but make sure it's low budget, which is very hard to do. So it came out of those constraints. And the horror film I had originally thought would be in a big research laboratory, and all chaos would break out. So I changed that in this film to it's in a research laboratory, and a whole bunch of hijinks ensue, and people are running around confused. There's not much else except just random stuff that I thought of while I was trying to write it. I did a lot of research on how illusionists actually do magic tricks, and I read a lot about how thieves operate in real life. So I think those were the main things. There's no like direct influence from any like one movie, but I feel like I was somewhat trying to go for the feel of 90s films, although I think in the end most people have referenced like 80s, when people are trying to grasp what's going on and map it to other movies, like some people have mentioned Phantasm.
I guess so. I didn't really see a lot of Phantasm in it, but I mean, I guess I do
I
in a
didn't
way.
Either, but
well, maybe because of like the weird like cross-dimensional stuff that kind of happens, and maybe that's just all in the head. There's some cross-dimensional stuff in Phantasm.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's just depending on what films you've seen, you try to map things to what you know.
Well, the poster for it reminds me of a darker Scanley. Scanley
Cool.
Darker.
Yeah, I didn't actually think of that.
The Philip K. Dick story that was made in the movie with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. Yeah.
Oldie but goodie.
Well, that's not a bad association.
I'll take it.
I hadn't actually thought of that. I actually put that poster. I got a bunch of free critiques on a Facebook science fiction forum to see what the reactions would be, and I was getting sort of a general, more of an 80-ish science fiction weirdness vibe is what people were starting to get.
Delved in horror a little bit. I haven't seen this, but The Earth Rejects Him. That looks like a horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That was actually another Massachusetts filmmaker, Jared Skolnick's his excellent short film about a boy who finds a skull, and weird things happen.
What was your part in that?
I was a monster.
I'm making a monster movie next week, The Awakening. It's a Bigfoot movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll be doing stills on that. Hopefully the weather, it's going to be entirely shot outside, so hopefully the weather next week on Saturday is cooperative.
Yikes.
So yeah. I definitely do not want to be the guy in the did I say werewolf? Wolfman? No, I said Bigfoot. I did say Bigfoot. Okay, because for some reason werewolves started popping in my head. Mm-hmm. I just saw a Bad Moon recently, and so I have werewolves on my brain. The guy in the Bigfoot costume, Jesus Christ! If it's like 90 degrees or 80 degrees outside, that costume is going to be like.
Knowing New England, I feel like it'll probably be fairly cool.
Well,
no, it was fairly hot lately.
Well, seeing how our summers are so up and down, our just entire weather in general, so who knows?
Oh, it's because of El Nino from years ago. They were finally catching up to the weather patterns. They said are going to be drastically changed in years to come.
Yeah.
And that we're now into years to come. Yeah.
We'll see.
That's exactly what our whole weird weather system has been like lately, is because of like a prediction years ago from El Nino.
Wow.
So...
Yes, sometimes it's a sacrifice to wear the monster suit, but someone's got to do it.
How long in total did it take to put together Brute Sanity?
It started in the beginning of 2015, so it's sort of a 2-year process.
Wow.
The first year, though, was just writing the script, mostly, and the beginning of casting. We cast Adjovi, and we filmed just barely enough sort of fake shots to make a teaser trailer at the end of 2015, and then it took the first half of 2016 to actually get all the shots done, because everyone works other jobs aside from my movie, but we got it done eventually, and then since then it's been post-production, and for the past few months it's been hitting film festivals. And
you got nominated for 2 awards recently?
Yeah, Adjovi won Best Actress, actually.
There you go.
At the Something Wicked Film Festival in Atlanta. And Brute Sanity won Best Production as well.
What made you want to do this film, Jovi?
I had actually auditioned for Sam for another film called, I think, Enough to Be Dangerous, and I didn't get the part, and he had sent me an email saying, thank you for coming in, and I hope to use you for another film. And you usually get that a lot from a lot of auditions, so I didn't think anything of it. And then I want to say maybe a year afterwards, I got an email from Sam asking if I wanted to play this character, and I was just so super excited just because it's such a fun dream role of wanting to play an FBI agent / scientist. So it was just everything combined, and I said yes, and got the script and just loved Carradine. So
there is, in the science fiction genre, in the horror genre, there's quite a few, but in science fiction, there's not a lot of African American leads.
Yes.
Other than Morpheus in The Matrix, which is technically he's not really the lead. I mean, he's kind of the lead, but it really goes off to Neo. Honestly, I cannot think off the top of my head. I mean, yeah, it's still secondary character Lando Calrissian, the secondary character Mace Windu. Mm-hmm. They're not the lead of the film whatsoever. No. I cannot think of a science fiction movie that has a lead black character.
Yeah,
it's been kind of weird lately because it seems like TV does. But movies has been kind of empty of diversity.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be getting a big science fiction show. It's a superhero show, but it's still technically considered science fiction because superpowers are science fiction based.
I mean, for me, it's very strange because I was born in Africa and I came to the States when I was 9, and my stepfather is American, and he was in the Peace Corps and happened to be my mom's village, and that's how they met. And so we came to the U.S., and in a strange way, I grew up in a prep school, and so I came.
What was he doing in Africa in the Peace Corps?
Peace Corps stuff.
Oh, was he like teaching them English?
No, they were building huts and helping the village, gather water, just sort of evolving, helping the village.
And how did he meet your mom? They just like.
living in the village.
Okay.
That was my mom's village. So I grew up in that village with my mom and my sister.
That should be made into a movie. That sounds like a movie. That sounds like a cheesy romance novel. This is like in the jungle too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I'm kidding. This is in Togo, West Africa, so it's
this
right
also sounds like a Disney
on the
movie.
coast. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Disney calls. And it's strange, right? I didn't grow up with racism because in Africa and in a village, everyone looks the same.
Yeah.
And then I came to Connecticut, and I grew up in a prep school, and again, I was in a weird sort of village where you're in a bubble, and everyone is a huge family, is very protective. So again, I didn't encounter racism really all my life, and
also it's New England, and
it's not the place. Yeah,
it's never to say racism doesn't exist in New England, but New England has been very more PC.
Yes.
Than most other states.
Yeah. So I didn't really know about race until I think middle school when we were learning about who won the Civil War. And I had accidentally said the South did. And the entire class just lost it. The point is that not growing up with racism, it was never a factor in how I saw myself, especially to be an actor. It wasn't something that I was thinking, I want to be a black actress. I want to, So I was, when I read for roles, when I read for stuff, the characters that attract me are the ones that I feel something towards. So I don't know what Sam's thoughts were when he casted me, but I was certainly excited to audition for his first role. And again, because I don't think there was a description of the female for Enough to Be Dangerous. Not that I recall.
There wasn't a description.
Yeah. So again, there wasn't something where I was like, oh, this had to be a white female, or this had to be a black female. I tend to audition based on if I feel something towards that character. But that being said, I know that, race is a huge issue. And even though it's not something that I worry about, I do see it. And there is something really incredibly neat to see a member of your community doing something that you want to do and being successful at it. So it's a weird thing for me. It's cool that I can sort of audition and go for things that I want to do, but I also understand that I'm an African American. I'm an African in America, and I try not to let that be a huge factor in what I do with my career, hopefully.
But if Jet or BET called and said, "Oh my God, we saw your movie. We want to give you this award or make you a spotlight,"
I'll be right there.
You would totally.
I'll be right there.
You would be right there.
Of course, because you always want, but not just because. It's a boost for your career.
But they say that it's because you're black. But you're going to be. But would you say to them, "I don't want to make it just because I'm black to interview or accepting this reward for the black community"?
I would take it and use that as the platform to make it clear that I hope it was more than just my skin that made you call me. I hope that you saw through Sanity, or you saw my other films and said, this is someone that has potential, and go from there. So I think I do worry about getting certain things for being black or just focusing on that, because it wasn't my focus when I was doing it. But I think at the same time, I can use that as the platform to say, hey, I hope you recognize my work and just my work, and not she's female, she's black, and she's from Africa, and so forth. So
it's kind of like Ben in the original Night of the Living Dead, George Romero, who just recently passed away. He's made a point several times very clear that he didn't cast. First of all, that actor was not even cast to play that character to begin with. He was the secondary choice. And yes, the first choice was a white guy.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but he cast him because he was the second best actor to play the character.
Yeah.
So the first actor dropped out, so he was like, hey, guess what? You're the runner-up,
That's
and now
great.
you're the leader of a movie involving zombies. He wasn't trying to create social justice warriors and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole movie is a social commentary on the Vietnam War, but not about anything to do with the actor being black. In fact, it's never mentioned in the movie that he's a black actor.
I love that.
He's just the hero of the movie that has to put up with this screaming white chick and all these crazy white people who think they know better than him and end up getting themselves killed.
Yeah. No, that's really cool to hear. I that's what I want, is that I hope that you always cast me as the best, or hey, this person dropped out, are you available?
Yeah, or like, and again, I mentioned The Matrix earlier, or whatever. I mean, there's no... in a movie where... in a future where we are all turned into human batteries to power machines, basically, and grown in test tubes, race does not exist. It does not need to exist anymore. The Terminator future, the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, in Brute Sanity, it's not canonically about race or diversity. It's just that I went with like the best actors that I thought fit the roles, and a lot of them, some of them weren't even male or female. It was just either or, you know, who would show up.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like usually I do have some vague image when I'm writing the script.
Okay,
but then later on, I'm like, does it really matter? And in some cases, like for instance, when I was trying to find a woman with a legitimate British accent, and no, there wasn't anyone. I couldn't find anyone.
It can be very difficult for that specifically.
I had a friend, and I couldn't convince her to do it, so it ended up just being well, I found one girl, but she didn't have the schedule available, so I went with a male,
cool,
with a British accent.
Do you see yourself doing a sequel?
Well, you know, I didn't originally, but a few people have asked.
And I haven't, again, finished the movie, people, so I can't give anything away about the ending of the movie. So
let's just say,
not going to.
Right, let's just say that we could do a sequel.
Okay.
I didn't originally plan on that.
Could you do a movie like in the universe, but not so much a sequel?
Well, yeah, we could do both. We could do a very direct sequel. There's some themes in the film that I definitely like to explore in other films, like, you know, thematic sequels, not necessarily
the
same thing.
You could call it flavor crystals.
Yes.
Got to that part in the movie, but it's only because I was the boom operator when I had to keep hearing those are flavor crystals over and over again.
You did it so well too.
That's my entire acting reel. It's just me saying that.
You sounded just like Sam.
And maybe just like your movie posters, that goofy looking computer with all the cell phones taped to it.
Yep. Well, that's how you hack things, right?
I was always like, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's the hacker computer.
There's a lot of tropes from action movies that I felt like I could just use these freely. Like, there's always in action movies someone with a laptop, and somehow they can control traffic lights, and they can hack into, like, airplanes. And, and you're always wondering, what is the...
They usually have multiple monitors set up, like Batman in the Dark Knight or something.
Oh, yeah,
hack everybody.
Right, if they're in the underground...
When you mention, like, that's a hacking computer, again, the first thing that thinks to mind is just like, well, just copy what Christopher Nolan did in The Dark Knight, where Batman's got, like, the cell phone, and he's picking off of everyone else's cell phone to find the Joker. And, like, that is actually brilliant. You know, like, because you can now, like, have an app or whatever, like a black market app to hack someone's computer.
Yeah, that's true.
Talk about some of the other actors of the movie that aren't here in the studio with us to defend themselves. And then I have a couple questions about some of the movies on your IMDb.
Sure.
Such as, like, how much you're into sexting you are, apparently.
Oh, I was not doing the sexting at all. I
saw that on there. I was like, sexting?
I'd be sent back to Africa by my mother if I was doing the sexting.
Speaking of...
no technology for you. Go live in the village for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
You send the pigeon out or something. Call the rhinos.
Smoke signals.
You know?
So there's this ship docked on Massachusetts. I think it's called the USS Salem.
Okay.
And they do like ghost type, like Halloween things there. And you can actually rent it, apparently.
Oh, wow.
So I was an extra in 2 films there several years ago.
Cool.
That's where I met Stephen Lawler Jones.
Okay.
We were standing around, I don't remember what, I think we were ghosts or something. I don't even remember what we were doing there.
I love it. We were something.
Were you ghosts with, like, powdered makeup on, or were you ghosts like Casey Affleck in The Ghost Story recently, where he's just wearing the sheet?
Have you seen it?
I tried to. It was the first movie in a long time that I shut off watching that I never want to go back again, because it's Rooney Mara eating a fucking pie for 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is stupid. The idea
Tons
of the whole...
money and got bored.
Yeah, I mean, maybe David Lynch could make eating a pie for 5 minutes interesting, but I don't know.
I mean, there is porn out there of naked women eating pies I could watch versus Rooney Mara.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus Christ. And I loved her in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Compared to, like, you know, Fantastic Four and the Nightmare on Elm Street, which were fucking awful.
I have not seen the new Nightmare on
Don't ever watch it. Don't ever watch it. Especially if you like want to do you want to do a horror movie eventually? Because you said that this was supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah, so I'm developing 1 or 2 horror movies right now.
And I'm going to be a part of those because I do this horror show and I love horror movies.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't want you. Do you want to give us an idea what they're going to be about, or do you not want to share it just in case someone steals it?
I can't say too much, but I'm developing a straight up horror movie.
Okay.
That will, it's a standard type of thing where there is a killer who is, in this case, monstrous, and he goes around killing people, and it's a lot of fun.
Do you have to build a costume and everything?
None of those details are worked out. This is just preliminary. So I would imagine it would be some sort of costume. Yeah.
Cool.
So in Brute Sanity, one of the things...
the hackers are kind of buddy hackers.
Yes, sort of. But one of the things that led to the plot was I watched a version of Faust where the devil makes a deal with a scientist.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a Russian... Yeah, it was a Russian version of Faust, filmed in German for some reason.
And it's you and the
so that gave me an idea, what if... So in this movie, Faust and the devil are wandering around having adventures together. And I was thinking, imagine if it was a buddy cop movie, except one guy's the devil and the other one's a scientist. And so in Brute Sanity, it's not a buddy cop situation, but I used the essence of a teaming up of 2 people that normally would not. Normally scientists and thieves
when
are
you
not
said the whole thing with Faust and the
with.
devil, I was also thinking of the devil and Daniel Webster, but they're not teaming up.
That's a little different.
Yeah, but the devil and Daniel Webster are the devil gets the guy's soul, he wants out of the deal, and he hires the famous lawyer Daniel Webster.
I was thinking of that
Webster,
too.
Massachusetts is based named after to get out of the deal. Something, by the way, I would love to see an updated version of that in theaters.
Yeah, I could have sworn the last version had either
in the 60s.
Oh gosh,
was it that long ago?
Yeah,
really?
The last theatrical version of The Devil and Daniel Webster was in the 60s. There was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah,
not quite the
I
same
think
thing.
with Jennifer Love Hewitt or something that I can't.
Really? Who did Jennifer Love Hewitt play? Did she play the devil? That'd be kind of hot, actually.
Gosh, I can't remember. I could have sworn there was something, maybe a different actress.
There was. What was that called? Bedazzled or something?
Yes, with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Elizabeth Hurley.
Yes,
she played the devil. She played a hot devil.
Yeah, when it comes to devils, she was
God
not bad.
Was played by God was a black guy. I forget the name of the actor.
Morgan Freeman.
No.
I'm kidding.
He's typecast now as the.
That's God. I love it.
Yeah, I've actually taken note of people who play devils. I would say Al Pacino did a really good devil.
Oh yeah,
in The Devil's
I think he's one of my. Yes, I think he's one of my favorite devils.
Really
Speaking of Keanu Reeves,
I think Jack Nicholson was a really good devil.
Who's he the devil?
In The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh my god, I have not watched that movie since I was a child.
Actually, I would say maybe he's slightly better than the Al Pacino one.
Mark Pellegrino plays an amazing version of Satan on the television series Supernatural. Which is currently now in its 13th season, but he plays the devil on that show so deliciously. It is perfect. And season 5 and this past season are some of the best performances by him.
I haven't watched it, but I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah.
When I have 13 seasons worth of time to binge watch.
Let's not get into it because it's a whole other conversation. I do a whole podcast about the monsters on that show.
Yeah.
So what was Sexting in Suburbia?
When was it?
What was it?
So Sexting in Suburbia was, I think it was filmed, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago in Worcester, and it was directed by Joe Steamson, and I had done another film called Boy Band by Andrea, who was also a Worcester native. The film is based on a true story about a girl who commits suicide because she had sent a naked picture to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend either accidentally sent it to the whole school. And
that's 13 Reasons to Die.
Yeah, I guess no one called me to no.
But you know what that show is, right?
Yeah, no, I've heard about it. I don't really.
It basically, but that's kind of like the same plot line that they have.
Yeah.
She has,
but
I think she's actually passed out or something, because the photos of the girl that we see being passed around is her upshot of her panties or something. I don't really remember. I've only seen the very first episode. And, like, it's mostly told through, obviously, all of her, like, recordings that she sent to everybody to piece together, like, why she decided to kill herself.
Yeah.
And then told, like, the main character who's not involved in the sexting, like, I think he gets the photo or something like that, but his reaction to it is not what she was expecting.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be her best friend.
Right.
But his reaction to the photo should have been, like, to delete it.
Mass production, essentially, yeah.
What?
Mass production where it went out to
Yeah, he
everybody.
got it. But he didn't do anything with it. But he's still, like, she still blames him for, like, her betrayal, even though what you're getting, again, from the first episode is, like, he had nothing to do with the sexting.
Right.
But she blames him anyway because of the fact he didn't react the way she wanted to. Yeah, he didn't do enough. So
for me, I thought the death was extreme. I mean, it's a true story, and I felt so bad that she would...
Sexting is a true story?
Yeah, so Sexting is based on a true story.
Oh, shit.
And so the girl commits suicide, and the mother just takes initiative to find out what happens. And Liz Vassy plays the mother in Sexting Suburbia, and I play Vanessa, her best friend, and I was in South Africa at the time that it happened. And I end up calling her and leaving her a voicemail, sending a picture of my boyfriend naked to her. And her mother, Liz Vassy, picks up her phone and answers. And you know, she says, "Who is this?" And she tells me her daughter had passed away. And so we meet up for coffee and discuss what happened, me saying that I had no idea. So that was my part. But the movie is just, it's like a lifetime body. And
wow.
So it's a Lifetime movie. If you know Lifetime movies,
the
it's
Man channel.
No, it's very dramatic. Women, forward,
but men are always portrayed as
done.
Rapists, thieves, murderers, child
You don't watch enough of it.
beaters.
They have crazy women on that show too. But this one was obviously, since it was based on a true story, it was more of a mom trying to find really good justice for her daughter. So that's where that movie.
When we're done recording, I have a funny Lifetime story movie to tell, but I don't want to edit it out. So, what do you want to do? More drama films like Sexting, or do you want to start getting into, like, action, sci-fi, horror films like Brute Sanity?
For me, I think whatever character I connect with the most is where it takes me.
Would you ever want to do, like, a slasher movie?
If there's enough meat, no pun intended.
Meat? Is that what you
enough
said?
Meat with the character.
Oh,
and that
meat. I thought you said meat.
Meat. Yeah.
As long as you're the final girl and don't get
She's
killed.
not the token black chicken.
Yeah. If there's enough, to the character where it's not just blood and gore and naked girls running around in bikinis. So whatever comes my way that I think I can feel the character is what I'd go towards. So
what are you working on next?
So I'm doing ADR next week for a film that I shot, I think, even before Bruce Sanity, called Plague a Zombie. And it's a trilogy that was made in Argentina. And so this is the third film, and it's directed by Gary Medeiros, and it's a zombie movie. Lots
Did you get
of
to go to
gore.
Argentina?
I did not. I was the bitchy ex-girlfriend, which I'm sure all ex-girlfriends are. But
Could you do bitch face really well?
Not. Apparently, I can. So they liked it.
She's a professional actor.
She's a professional bitch actress.
I'm a bitch professionally, and so I play the girlfriend who's dumping the guy who, is just a go-getter, and so he ends up saving the world by killing zombies, and I dump him because I want a guy who can pay the bills.
That sounds like Tara Reid's character in Sharknado.
There's actually
Great.
The leader host.
Hey, come on! She's got 5 of those Sharknado movies under her belt.
Stop.
Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies had a similar thing.
The Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the next Nazi creature film to come out in light of everything that's happening right now and today. That would be awesome.
Well, that should be really
They've done so many, though.
I know, but they haven't done one in a while. Now, with everything that's hot
They've
in the
got
news,
motivation now.
We should totally have
every
one.
few decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make the world a better place. Punch a Nazi in the face.
And it rhymes.
That can be said for anything. Make the world a better place. Punch a Yankee fan in the face. Where can people catch Brute Sanity?
It will be put into motion into distribution soon.
Okay.
So
then it's out of your hands.
So yeah, hopefully in a few months you can just watch it online.
But are you going to be able to
not...
maintain some control? Or are you selling?
So, well, basically it means that I'm not selling it directly at that point.
No, I mean, are you selling your rights to hold on to it if you want to go to, like I recommend, because you're doing film festivals, contacting like Garen Daly, who controls the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival, one of the longest running film festivals in the country.
Well, yeah, I've already talked to them.
Okay.
I've submitted it to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be at the one in February.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. It's up to the...
That would be awesome.
It's up to the judges. They get thousands of movies to choose from, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will send a text to Gary.
The funny thing is...
That's my movie.
Yeah. The funny thing is I'm also a judge of that festival. I don't think...
So we can't submit?
No.
No. It's just that I'm not going to be judging my own film.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe
saying.
You couldn't. I thought you weren't going to be allowed to do anything with that.
Yeah, no, they seem to be okay with that. But yeah, no, I'm not going to be like, oh wow, I was so surprised.
It's not like as much as I
was
love
on the
Boston,
edge of my seat for that movie.
It's not like as much as I love the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival. It's not the Tribeca Film Festival. It's not Fantastica, or it's not Cannes, which I know cost a shit ton of money to submit films to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bigger the festival, it's not just how much it costs; it's because a million other people submit.
Yeah, it sucks
So
though that
you
you don't
put
get
it
money
into
back.
The cost, you would think?
No,
of course not.
Fangoria, I wanted to submit one of my short films to for a short. It was like $100 or something. I was just like, fuck.
What do they do with that money?
Yeah, it's like, why don't you get it back if you don't get your movie submitted?
Wait, you don't. You have to pay even if you don't get in?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they still also charge everyone to attend it like $30 to $50 for the weekend pass or whatever it is. You know what I mean? They're making money.
Like I get it if it's applying to colleges and but wow.
Nope, you don't get it back.
Holy.
It's gone. Goodbye. Bon voyage. Ta-ta. La vista
stick to
day.
the acting side then.
Hasta la vista, baby.
If you're in Washington, D.C. next week, is it next week?
No, it's the 31st.
September 1st or August 31st?
August 31st. Sorry, my apologies.
We're playing at the Museum of Science Fiction, an event of the Museum of Science Fiction.
There's a Museum of Science Fiction?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C. They have a big con now called Event Horizon.
I've heard of that. Named after the movie.
I mean, sorry, I meant Escape Velocity.
Okay.
I don't know why I said
We're
Event.
I was going to say, is it named after the movie or named after an actual thing that happens in outer space called Event Horizon?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I went from Escape Velocity to Event Horizon.
Okay. Well, I had to explain.
Although it would be fun if there was something called Event Horizon.
Speaking of Clive Barker, that was basically Hellraiser in space.
Yes, it was.
And they already had Hellraiser in space with Hellraiser 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually would. I would love to have more horror sci-fi movies out there.
God, I think the last one that we saw was the prequel. I use that in quotations to The Thing.
Yeah.
So, or Pandemonia, if you ever saw that movie.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Or Pandorum.
Pandorum. Yeah. So the prequel to The Thing and the Pandorum, which that is technically is a prequel. I mean, everyone says it's a remake, but it's like, yeah, but Mary Louise Winstead is not Kurt Russell's character, so she's just like a female action star who acts like Kurt Russell's character. I just thought of. I was saying, female black lead, Alien vs. Predator. As terrible as that movie is.
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah.
Who's the lead? I can't remember her name.
I forgot her name.
I can tell you right now in 2 seconds.
As you can tell, I don't keep up with that either.
Was that a Paul W.S. Anderson?
Vanessa Williams? No.
Vanessa Williams would never be in a movie
she was in a movie with Arnold, right? Vanessa Williams?
The Eraser.
The Eraser. That's what I was
Yes, but that's more of an action movie.
Yeah.
And then there's Vampire in Brooklyn, which had Angela Bassett.
Oh, yeah.
But again, that was still... that's still a horror movie. Horror movies have had prominent black characters as leads, Blackula and Blade and stuff like that. I have no idea. She's not popping up on IMDb.
Alien vs. Predator.
All I see is a bunch of white guys.
Is she fairly...
Oh, here she is. Shauna Latha? She was the mountain climber. That's her. Yeah, that's her.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah. But the problem is, like, the end of the movie, she's just, like, left out in the... Like, the predators come, take away their fallen predator, and hand her a weapon. And then she's, like, left out in the middle of Antarctica by herself, and I'm always wondering... When the Thing remake or prequel came out, I said, oh, she's going to run into Mary Louise Winstead's character, because she's also in Antarctica. The two of them are just going to find each other.
Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson, he has some very good choreographed scenes, but his movies sometimes leave something to be desired as far as the plot.
She's the voice of Donna on Family Guy.
Oh, wow.
The Cleveland show. Yeah, she was the voice
What?
of Donna on the Cleveland show, and now the voice of Donna on Family Guy whenever she appears.
Oh, Get Out.
Yeah.
I think that the first time I saw was, I think, in Love and Basketball. And
I
then
guess so.
Something New was where she was the female lead with a white actor, Simon Baker, which I adored that movie too. So, yeah, it's always good to see her on screen.
But I had no idea she was Vanessa in Blade.
I had
her hair is so different in that movie
Huh.
versus in like Alien vs Predator, where she's got like I think like a hat on or something.
Yeah.
Her hair is completely different. But in Blade, she's got like very 90s like.
Well, it was Blade
hair.
was like Afro-ish or just like.
No, it was just ridiculous, like 90s hair. Like they were like carrying over like the 80s women's hair, but like a lot of black actresses were like doing it like now in the 90s. Like a lot of the black actresses of the 90s wore their hairstyle like white women did in the 80s.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and that's not even the worst aesthetic from the 90s.
No.
Things.
Anyway, thank you both for coming down
Thank
to
you.
the studio.
Thank you
We
so
really
much.
appreciate it. You can find Brute Sanity on your website too, or you can find like how to know more information about it. What's your website?
Right. Yeah, brutesanity.com.
brutesanity.com. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.